This one goes out to my girls, to all the women who feel like once again, we all just got punched in the gut. It's 2016, deja vu, but so much worse. Because as so many of you have shared with me, this time we know what's coming. Whew, the PTSD is real, y'all. And millions of Americans said we do too, and we're totally down with it. My name is Suri Crowe, and you are watching the MeidasTouch Network. And like thousands of you, I too am still in shock and utter heartbreak. I'm crushed. The past 48 hours have been so incredibly painful, and my phone, probably like yours, has been blowing up with nonstop calls and texts from women saying, how can we be here again, Suri? How did this happen to us again? How did our abuser get a literal get out of jail free card again? It is a stunning loss. Well, as I listen to the political pundits talk about messaging and strategy and what the Dems should have done and what the campaign should have changed, and some are throwing blame on President Biden, I'm like, nope. Shut. Because I knew as soon as I saw that electoral college map turning red, that the core of this devastation was as obvious to me as America's original sin, which is racism and misogyny. And if you're a person of color or a marginalized group or a woman, you knew that. And the MAGA movement has disguised this in a campaign of let's return to America of yesterday, of traditional values, aka when women and people of color didn't have any rights. Alex Wagner of MSNBC breaks it down.
Turn to what they consider traditional American values, one centered around a very retrograde version of the American family. We saw this vision of America violently and angrily and bizarrely boosted by Tucker Carlson when he described America as an anxious teenager waiting for her father figure to come home and spank her.
There has to be a point at which Dad comes home. Yeah, that's right. Dad comes home. And he's pissed. When Dad gets home, you know what he says? You've been a bad girl. You've been a bad little girl, and you're getting a vigorous spanking right now.
It's dark, and it was strange, and it was meant to appeal to men, including and especially white men, which, as the results of this election make clear, it did. But they were not alone. White women broke for Donald Trump by an 8-point margin, and Latino men broke for Trump by a 12-point margin. They, at the very least, were not put off by this vision of America as a rigid and sometimes violent patriarchy. They maybe even supported it.
The answer is yes, they absolutely do support it. Not just perhaps, they do. The evangelical church teaches this false narrative that women are to be submissive to their husbands that has been wrongly misinterpreted because of the patriarchy. All these white Christian nationalist pastors who are teaching, and women shall submit to their husbands, like that is some bullshit. I'm just sorry. I gotta say it. It is not. That is not the way of Christ. That is wrong exegetical teaching. It is wrong. Okay. So just on that. And also the Hispanic culture, which I grew up around, has a culture of toxic masculinity. And so women who are steeped in these type of cultures believe that if they go along with the toxic patriarchy, that they will be spared, that they will be safe. Like Serena Joy in The Handmaid's Tale, she believes as she goes along with her vicious husband that she'll somehow be safe, but that's not what happens. They always get sucked up in the cruelty of the patriarchy, and economic loss is blamed on independent, educated women by these men for breaking up the traditional male-dominated homes.
To them, the end of a male-dominated household and the struggle to get by financially, well, those are natural partners. Even before the pandemic, American middle-class wages were stagnating. And the very real loss in purchasing power caused by the pandemic gave the Bannons and the Vances of the world something to point to as justification for this belief. This is not to say that so-called economic anxiety can explain away our country's embrace of racist and sexist demagoguery. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Economic anxieties are a key part of an ideology that bemoans the loss of white male power, even as macho white dudes continue to dominate our politics. In exit polls, white men without a college degree supported Donald Trump over Kamala Harris by 40 points. Voters, including men and women who had served in the military, went for Trump over Harris by 31 points. To that end, Pogue identifies another factor that I think motivates the MAGA movement, the reassertion of a white male warrior class. As Pogue writes, you'll often hear in conservative circles that America's warrior class, which on the right is often believed to be from ethnically Scotch, Irish, disproportionately Southern families who treat military service as family heritage, that they have been the ones who bled to build our empire and ended up with NAFTA, fentanyl, and a coastal establishment that sees them and their values as backward and dangerous.
That part right there. And let me just remind everybody that they did not build America. America was built first by the indigenous people who were here first. Remember colonialism. And this is the sadness, because this is why Republicans are destroying public education and why they don't want critical race theory taught, which it isn't currently. But this is why they don't want real American history taught, because it was the indigenous peoples who were here first. White people came over, basically slaughtered them, and took over American land. So when they talk about, they were here first, or real Americans, if we're going to go by historical fact, that would be the Native American people. So this is so ridiculous. And these mostly white men are so threatened by the women who are outpacing them in education and earning power. And Trump and Bannon and Vance have tapped into that rage through their right-wing media echo chambers, and they've turned it on women. And they're saying, the blame is it's our fault that their lives aren't going well. And that's why these incels aren't getting the pretty girl. And I saw that rage come so hard at Kamala Harris when she did not go to Joe Rogan and sit down for a 3-hour podcast on his terms. And I saw these incels just blasting fury at her because Vice President Harris represents the gorgeous, intelligent woman who has the great job, the powerful job that they could never get. And in their minds, she had just said no to a date with their version of the alpha male. And keep in mind, she agreed to do the podcast, just not on his terms. It's that bend the knee mentality that these, sexist, misogynistic males have. And there's no better example of what I am referring to than white nationalist Nick Fuentes' unhinged explosion at women the other day. And by the way, I know a lot of us are in really fragile spaces right now, so I'm going to give you a trigger warning because this is tough to listen to. So if you're not in the headspace for it, mute it or skip ahead, okay?
The feel when you're totally not pressed. The feel when we control your bodies. Hey, bitch, we control your bodies. Guess what? Guys win again, okay? Men win again. And yes, we control your bodies. Hi, I'm your Republican congressman. Hi, I'm your Republican congressman. It's your body, my choice. And men, women again. Men win again. There will never, ever be a female president. Never. There will never be a female president ever. It's over. Glass ceiling. Dude, it's a ceiling made of fucking bricks. You will never break it. Your stupid face keeps hitting the brick ceiling. We will keep you down forever. You will never control your own bodies. You will never be the president of the global empire. Never gonna happen, sweetie. Your body, our choice.
That's it. Right there. It is hatred of us. It is the demand that we do what they say, that they control us. And this election was, as Donald Trump said himself, retribution on women and equality, whether we like it or not. Remember that part? And that, my friends, is why my girls have been texting and calling me at all hours of the night. Many are fearful and terrified, thinking of moving out of the country. We're talking about renewing passports. Others are feeling worn out. Like, do we have the fight left? One of my friends who is a champion of social justice issues and a big organizer of movements, she said to me today, and she's a mom of 2 daughters, She's like, Suri, I'm tired. I'm tired. I've been doing this for 8 years. And you know what? I don't blame her. It's to go and replenish and take a break and not be helping at the moment, but go help herself, you know, and heal herself. But here's what I do know is that women are amazing. We are so strong. We are resilient. We literally bring life into this world. And so we are not going to back down. I think about those indigenous cultures. I grew up in Arizona and I have so much respect for native cultures and native peoples. That was one of my very first jobs working in TV, was producing a show about, the tribes in Arizona. Just really incredible. And they were here first, and they have dealt with so much oppression throughout their history. And yet they continue to create beautiful art and be incredibly beautiful people. And I think about my amazing Black female friends and how they don't quit. And so I say, let's link arms and hearts and heal with them right now. Let's be together and gather with these women and heal together and draw from their strength and their experience and their leadership, because they know what it's like to continue through oppression. Now is the time to find those safe spaces with like-minded women and men. We appreciate our male allies, no doubt. And I heard somebody say, how do we know who our allies are? Well, for me, one of the many groups I joined running up to the election was the Swifties for Kamala group. So I still have a lot of these bracelets left. And I just love the message of with love and hope that Taylor Swift signed her endorsement for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz with, because I mean, we cannot let them take our love and hope and joy, because then that's letting them win. I refuse to let that happen. So my little bracelets are sort of like a little signal, like a wink and a nod, like, hey, babe, you on my side? Like, yeah, I got you, girl. So I'm still trading some of those or giving them away to people who are like, yeah, we're part of the alliance. We're part of the resistance. And I'll be honest, you know, I'm not talking to my MAGA friends right now. Yes, I do have a few in my life. A lot of people ask about that. I see in the comments, like, how do you have MAGA friends? I do have a few. One of them is one of my very best friends, but I'm not talking to her right now because not to be mean, but I just don't have the mental capacity. So like, this is about self-care right now. We have to take care of ourselves, because this isn't just politics, y'all. People's lives are on the line. What is going to happen in the Trump administration is going to have tremendous repercussions on millions of people. So, this is about self-care. So take care of yourselves. Like, ironically, my cancer journey has taught me to really invest in self-care. I do cool things like Reiki and acupuncture and massage. And it's really amazing because it makes me take time out of my day from all the stress and mess of life. And we all need to do something like that, whether it's taking a walk or hugging, you know, your dog. You know, my dog is a huge part of my life, your kid, your spouse, take a bath. I know a lot of us have been doing stress eating. That's okay. Like, if you ate all your kids' Halloween candy, who cares right now? Who cares? I've been eating a lot of Kit Kats, right? We have just been through a massive trauma. But just take whatever time you need to do to replenish and heal. And be kind to yourself. You guys, this is really rough. This is a massive blow. But I want you guys to be kind and detox, turn off social media. I've been out of control with it myself. I really had to just be like, okay, I got to put my phone down in the middle of the night, because we need you. We need you. This fight is not over. It is not over. And I will leave you with the words of our beautiful, brilliant, and kind Queen Vice President Kamala Harris from her concession speech the other night.
There's an adage an historian once called a law of history, true of every society across the ages. The adage is, only when it is dark enough can you see the stars. I know many people feel like we are entering a dark time. But for the benefit of us all, I hope that is not the case. But here's the thing, America, if it is, let us fill the sky with the light of a brilliant, brilliant billion of stars. The light of optimism, of faith, of truth, and service. appreciate you. And may that work guide us, even in the face of setbacks, toward the extraordinary promise of the United States of America.
We will not let the Biden-Harris legacy go in vain. We will not let them take our joy. Please share your thoughts and feelings below. I do read a ton of them. I really do. So I wish you all peace and big love.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.